are live. We got a special guest in the house. Farayi Bote is in the house. How are you, dear?
I'm doing good, Adam. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining today on the Real Estate Exam Study Group. So we already got people filing in. They're ready for you.
Oh,
so
we're going to
talk. Yeah, I know. So, but before we do, we have a tradition. We got to raise the roof before we get started. There we go. Okay. It always breaks the ice. That's what I do. It's stupid, but it's always a great way to segue into it. So we're going to talk to Farayi right after this, and she's going to tell us how she passed the real estate exam on numero uno. I can't talk Spanish today. So, and she's going to give you all the tips and tricks that's going to help you pass your exam first time around. So we're going to talk to her right after this. All right, we are back. Farayi, thank you for coming on. Welcome to the Real Estate Exam Study Group. And you were part of this. You watched it a little bit, didn't you?
Oh,
Not
yes, I did.
much.
I did.
Yeah, you passed it on the first try, so you didn't. Wasn't on there too long. But we have a lot of people filing in, which is great for what is today? Wednesday afternoon.
Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, hump day. So we got people coming in. So guys, if you're watching live, this is Wednesday at noon. We are live right now. If you're seeing this, if you have any questions, put it in the comment section, and we can get those answered for you live on air. If you're too shy, don't want to ask the question in the chat, you can always put it in the comment section after. I know there's a lot of you out there. Again, just put it in the chat. We don't have to put you on camera or anything. You just type it in, and myself and Farayi we'll answer those questions for you. So, all right. Well, without further ado, Mrs. Bote, she just got married recently, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Newlywed.
I know I had to change your name, and it was we had to change all that around.
Oh, yeah.
So go ahead and tell us a little bit about you besides getting married recently.
All right. So my name is Farayi, as you have heard. Born and raised in Zimbabwe, which is in the south of Africa. I've been in America for about 5 years now. Started off in Virginia, then went to Massachusetts, and now I am glad to say Columbus, Ohio is home.
All right. So when did you start Hondros? When did the journey? Because you went to Hondros College.
Yes.
Because some people don't. That comes on here. Not everybody, but we have a lot of students through Hondros. Farayi, what was when did you start the whole journey into real estate?
So I started with Hondros last November. So that's November 2023, just on the beginning of November. And It was all online.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, all online. So then a lot of people say, like, how many people? We got people saying hi, hello, hi Tracy, hi Layla, Austin says congratulations. So good job. So let's talk about the studying part. So a lot of people always ask, like, Adam, if I have to go into real estate school, should I go in person, in the class? Should I do it online? So let me ask you this. Why did you do it online?
So for me, it was more of just like flexibility. You work on your own schedule. So that's the main reason why I chose to do it that way. Nothing against going into class or doing it live stream, but that was just my preference.
Yeah. And believe it or not, guys, like 80 to 90% of Hondros students take things online. So, and it's just convenient. No different for you, Farayi. So so with that being said, let's talk about like your studying patterns. So we got more people filing in. A lot of congratulations to you. So you're getting a lot of congrats. This is pretty good for a Wednesday afternoon.
Thank you.
All right. So they must have loved what you had to say so far. So, but yeah, guys, if you have any questions for her, put the questions in the comments, and Farayi, she'll answer them for you. So, more congrats coming through. So I guess my question to you is, tell us a little bit about how you studied, because you did it self-paced, which means you could study whenever you wanted. So what did that look like for you?
So I'll start off by saying real estate had like my full focus. I wasn't
Hmm.
working, so I did
Okay.
have an unfair advantage where I could
Yeah.
afford to spend like 6 to 8 hours a day just going through my courses online and just
Hmm.
studying in general. So I started in November and I just gave myself a goal. I wanted to be done with the courses by the holidays, Christmas holidays.
Okay. So
Yes,
literally
and
that gave you like 45 days.
yes.
That wasn't even 2 months, right?
It was, yeah, it was a little less than 2 months.
Okay. Alright, so you were ripping through it pretty good. If you can
Oh,
complete your coursework in a month, that's pretty good. You know,
oh
2
yes.
months is pretty ideal. So you did it, yeah, like, that's what I kept telling you, like, you were real diligent about it, and you did it textbook.
Oh
You
yes.
you really did, Ferrari.
Yes, I
So,
tried to
like,
get it
what
all in within those 2 months. And I did say I had the advantage of I could
you did.
do at least 8 hours a day, just focused on that.
You would study 8 hours a day for how many days in a week?
Oh, Monday to Friday. So 5 days a week.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were a
Oh, I
studyholic.
was
I didn't know
focused.
that.
I was trying
Yeah,
to get it
okay.
all done.
Yeah, for sure. So now um let's segue into, it took you about a month and a half to get through it. So once you finish your classes, I always say like that's when like the hard work that's like when the
Begins.
hard studying begins. What did that look like? So you're all done with class. No more hours putting in, into textbooks and stuff like that. Cheyenne says she takes hers on Friday. So good luck, Cheyenne,
Good luck
on
to
yours.
you.
Let us know how you do. But so what did that look like after you finished your coursework and now you're studying for the exam? What did you do to prep for it?
All right, so I took a little break after Christmas holidays, obviously, with the
Okay.
chaos of the holidays. But as of
Right.
first week of January, I went back into it. Pretty much just like refreshing all the stuff that I had learned, went over
Hmm.
all the notes I had been writing, and I started taking practice exams that are available on Hondros just to assess and see,
Okay.
like what my strong points are, what it is that I'm not actually, what I need to focus on. After taking those practice tests, then I would go back to those topics and then just go through them again.
When you say practice tests at Hondros, what are you talking about, the ones at the end of each chapter
So
or the one at the
there
end of
are
each book?
there are 4 practice exams online that Honduras provides. Yes.
Okay,
So
those.
I
Got it.
took just one of those exams just to assess where I was.
Okay. And, did you take the Crammer at all?
I took the grammar twice.
Okay. Alright. Why twice?
So the first time I was in panic mode. Obviously, if you take those who aren't familiar with the grammar, it's pretty much like the simulated practice exam,
Mhm.
and you take it within the same time frame that you will take the actual exam. And the exam structure is pretty much almost the same. So I feel like when I took it the first time, I didn't know what I was getting into. So time wise and the way they asked the questions, I was in full on panic mode, and I didn't do so
Okay.
great.
Alright. Did you do better on the second Crammer,
Oh yes, I
Ferrari, or the
did.
first one? The second one, okay.
The second one,
Um,
yes.
now let me now there's something we all another superstition that we do here is we never tell people what you got on the exam.
Okay.
Okay. Now, everyone at home, for those who's taking their, someone taking their, Cheyenne, um, you need a 70 to pass your test on each section on state national. So we know that she at least got that. So let me ask you this: what did let's talk about the second Kramer.
Okay.
The score that you got on the second Kramer, was it comparable or comparable to what you got on the actual exam after the fact?
Surprisingly, it was exactly what I got in the exam.
Really? It was
Oh
right
yeah.
on. Okay.
It was right on.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the first Kramer. So obviously way lower. Is
Oh
that
yes.
right?
It was
Okay.
really bad.
So, okay, again. All right. Was it under 60?
It was under 60, yes.
Okay. All right. I'm kind of leading you into a trap. All right. All right. So if you are getting less than a 60 on the crammer, on the Honduras crammer, I would usually recommend you not taking the test yet. If you're
Hmm.
over 60, then you're right in that area. You're pretty darn close. You could get kind of lucky on a couple questions and it'll take you
Oh
over.
yeah.
So it's probably good that you took some time. So after the first crammer and you didn't do as hot as you wanted, so it'd been
Hmm.
under a 60. Well, I'm guessing by your body language. So what did you do? How did you get from a 60 to a passing grade? What did you study and change in your study habits
So after
between
the
crammer 1
sale
and
of the
2?
crammer, when we were going over it, the revision part of it, going
Uh-huh.
through question by question, I identified my mistakes. First of all, I was rushing through it. I wasn't reading the question. So it's always important, read what the question is asking. Don't rush into thinking, oh, this is what they want, and
Okay.
then you put the wrong answer. That was the first
Oh,
thing. Second
okay.
thing was I had not been focusing a lot on the math questions. So
Okay.
having someone go over those questions and explaining how to go through the questions and how to answer them, that really helped a lot.
Got it. Okay. I'm gonna break that down what you said here, Ferrari. We got Cheyenne said that's exactly what happened to me. My second crammer, I did great. So,
Yeah.
and then Austin says life hit me really hard when I signed up. I dragged my feet, which is not like me, but I'm about 45% done with these classes. I have to take these classes in small doses because there's so much info. Yeah, totally is, Austin. Just get through the information, get through the classes, and then that's when the hard studying begins, to be
Oh
truthful
yeah.
with you. But get through the classes. So, any advice for Austin?
Oh yeah. Take it
Sorry.
at your own pace. Don't feel the pressure at all. Just do it at your own pace.
Yeah. Yep. Paige, hey Paige. What is a piece of advice you would have given to yourself? And that isn't that funny? Because I said earlier, I said if you act like you could go back in time and give advice
Oh
to
yeah.
yourself. But good job, Paige. You read my mind, or you had my phone hacked. Which one? So, what piece of advice would you have given yourself while studying before your exam, knowing what you know now? That's a really good question. I like that one. What does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it does.
All right. What would it
I
be?
would say one, preparedness.
Okay. What do you
You're
mean by
never
that?
100% prepared, and just don't doubt yourself. Because I feel like I was 85% ready, but I kept doubting myself. So I'll definitely,
So
if
when
I
you
feel like I'm prepared, I'm prepared. Schedule your exam
Oh,
when you feel like you're prepared, and don't, hesitate.
got it. So you think
Yeah.
confidence it was a big
Oh
part of it.
yes, for
I
sure.
agree. Mental
For sure.
confidence. Yeah, we have one of our agents, um, and for I don't think you met her, Bree Williams. She had to stop in the middle of her test and go to the bathroom because she was getting like overwhelmed. Bree, I'm sorry
Oh
I threw
yeah.
you under the bus there, but she told it on. Hold on, she told it on this real estate exam study group.
Oh, then it's okay.
So it's okay. It's public now. But anyhow, I think that's what saved her because she regrouped. She got
Oh
regrouped, and it
yes.
was a lot about confidence. So I guess when you walked in for your exam, when you walked in that day, because you only took it once and passed it the first
Yes.
time. When you walked in for the exam, do you think you were 100% ready, or it's like I think you mentioned 85%, but just be
I
confident.
think
Like
I was at 85%. And here's the
good.
thing, I didn't tell anyone I was going to take the exam in case it went the other
You
way.
didn't tell me. Yeah, I was
No.
confused. Yeah, like always. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think I probably went into it like 85% sure I was going to pass. I mean, there's always a little room for doubt, but I was
That's
probably
not a
at an
bad thing.
85%. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing people overstudy. They just study and study and study and study and study. I've had people that said, "Adam, I got an 80% on my crammer." And I'm like, "Wow, that's
That's
really good."
amazing.
Well, yeah, really good. And guys, I'm telling you, most of the people who pass their exam are in the 70s.
Oh
Very
yeah.
few people ever will get I think I've only seen one person I mean, there's obviously millions of people, maybe not really, but that really ever had a 90 or a little over higher. Like it's that test is built to kind of make it close. They make you work for it. So um, there's a couple questions I have for you, but we got another question, got more students coming in asking, so let's hit them up.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
sure.
So Ashley says, "So motivating. Thank you. I need this very much." See, you're motivating these people.
Oh
That's why
great, yes.
some people are coming on. Austin says, "Yeah, confidence is super key. If you don't believe that you can, if you can, then what's the point?" Yeah,
Yes,
it is
true.
confidence, and maybe this will go a little longer than normal, but I'm going to talk about things to make you more confident, tips, and then if you have anything, Ferrari, and then y'all can do it. I love that. That's y'all.
Yes.
That's my countryside coming out. So, well, let's talk about confidence because you hit on it, and other people have too. So, um, what what did you do if you say, "Listen, I did like 3 things that made me more confident." What is that? Like, because confidence it's hard to measure confidence. It's like all up in
Mhm.
your head. What did you do to say, like, I was 85, I was pretty confident, not 100 because no one is sometimes, but like I was pretty confident. What did you do to get confident? 3
So
things.
the first thing I think was how prepared I was for the exam. Before I went in for the exam, I had gone through every single possible practice exam that was available for me. I had gone through all the CompuCram questions, and that kind
CompuCram,
of gave me an
practice.
idea like, hey, if you see your score improving slowly but surely, then
Mhm.
that shows that your level of knowledge has improved. So I was more confident that I would be able to pass just by the past exams and things that I was doing.
Okay. So you didn't buy any outside stuff other than what you got at Hondros, is that right?
I also use PSI. They have like a package for like I think it's like $49, which has like
Mhm.
500 questions. So I went through
Yes.
that as well.
Okay. So she also bought the PSI package, guys.
Oh yes.
Okay. Real We should I maybe I need to get a sponsorship from them because we push that out a lot. And I
Oh
work for
yes,
Hondros. I might
really.
get in big trouble. But it's true. If it works, it works. That's why we're here. So, okay. So other than the study material, is there anything else that made you more confident? Could
I'm
be
just telling
something
myself
random.
that I could do it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, like
Um,
all the way into like walking into the exam, just don't panic. Tell yourself you can do
mhm.
it. You wouldn't be sitting there if you didn't feel like you were ready for it. So I just went in there positive minded and told myself I was going to do it.
Yeah, awesome. Ferrari, thank you. A couple other tips I think from confidence standpoint is one is I would recommend you went to the Groveport because um, testing center, which is the south end of Columbus, right?
Yes.
All right, yeah. So I would always recommend to cut anxiety down. I don't know if you did this. Did you go to the testing center the day before, the week before you took the
I
test, or was
didn't
that the first
go.
time?
I didn't go, but I did do my research, read some reviews on it. Yes.
Okay. All right. I think that's helpful because it's like your first day of school. Like when I was in college a few hundred years ago, I would always walk my classes. Now, when I was a senior, I knew what was going on. But, I went to Bowling Green. It was a big school. And when I was a freshman, I was petrified. Okay. This is big school compared to where I came from. And I remember I walked all the classes the day or two before. And I wasn't the only one. There was other scared freshmen doing it too. And the nice thing was the first day of class, I was like, oh, this is where I go. And I walked right into class and I'm like, yeah, because I walked into the classroom just as you can do this in the testing center,
Okay.
because the testing centers, guys, all of them are kind of conspicuous. It's not like McDonald's, there's a big sign like, oh, there's Walmart, and you pull
Oh
in.
yes.
It's like they're like in these like business offices, and you would never know where they're at. And what you don't want is you don't want to like be kind of nervous and scared. You don't know where you're going. You're looking at the GPS, you're fighting traffic. So I would recommend if you can just stop at the testing center and take a look at it and be like, this is where I'm going next week. Okay. You're welcome to go in there too. people do it all the time because I tell people to do it and they tell me they do it, and just say,
Mhm.
hey, I got to be here next week. And just ask them, what do I need to bring? What can I wear? Because your testing center, they don't like hoodies. Is that
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah?
yes.
I tell you what, when I'm comfortable, you see me a lot on these shows. I wear hoodies. I love hoodies. Got the cool logos on them. But if I walked in with a hoodie, they'd say, take that off. And now I'm in a t-shirt and it might be cold and
And
I
then
might be
cold.
freezing. Yeah. And I'm not paying attention. So, um, yeah, uh, very good. Is there anything, let's switch gears. And guys, if you have any questions, we are live. It's like 12:20 Eastern time, Wednesday, and March 6th. So is there anything that you studied, Ferrari, that you say like, gosh, I kind of wasted my time on that. I wish I didn't worry about that. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
All
I
right,
don't know
yeah.
if anyone else is like me. Me and math are not friends. So if there was one
Okay.
thing I went
Math.
into it
Mhm.
was the math questions. So
Okay.
I focused so much on those, and at the end of the day, my exam probably had like 3 or 4 of those math questions.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
well, let's talk math. That's always a hot one. So, all right. You had at least 5 because that's minimal. It probably
Oh
felt
yeah.
like 3, and that's great. That's probably why you
Oh
passed your
yeah.
test because you were good. So let's talk about math, guys. There's anywhere from 5 to 10 math questions. If they hate you, they'll give you 10. If they
Oh
think
yeah.
you're nice, they'll give you 5, so, but anyhow, um, so I guess my question to you is, Ferrari, what kind of math questions did you see? Did you think they were easy? Do you think they were like really hard? Do you remember what kind of math questions showed up?
Oh, I definitely remember them being hard because I remember laughing at myself, like, oh, wow, you were worried about all these other questions. And I
Uh-huh.
think most of them were like on commissions or
Mm-hmm.
basic
Yeah.
math, like calculate the square footage of this lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Commission. Yeah. And we're seeing that all the time. I asked that question because I want to see if they change it up. But
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, so commissions is real important. Here's a quick example. I know we're getting a little long, but this is really good stuff. So if you sell a house for $100,000, okay, that's the sale price. The agent earns 3% commission. How much gross commission does the agent get? Well, 3% of $100,000 is 3 grand. You know, do they do anything with broker splits?
Oh,
All
yes.
right. Do
I
they
think
Okay.
they had another one scenario like that as well
Okay. So, like, if she had a commission check of $10,000 and she was 50-50 broker
with a
split with
brokerage.
her
Yes.
broker, how much would she get? Oh, 5
Yes,
grand.
exactly.
Yeah. It's all multiple choice, guys. Um, so you don't have to write it out. Did they give you a calculator? All right.
Yes,
Did they get
calculator
Yeah.
was provided and an amortization chart as well.
Okay. So you got that. You get a piece of paper and a pencil?
You get scrap paper and a pencil as you're going in as well. Yes.
Yeah, you got all that. So Layla says, "Yep, she's focused on math." So, I would not waste a lot of study time on math.
Oh
Would you
yeah.
agree with that?
Oh, I agree.
Or,
Yes.
it's not as hard as you think. There's 2 things that come up that's kind of tough. There is gross rent multiplier. That one
Mhm.
comes up sometimes. That's a tough one. The other one is like the acreage and with townships and stuff like that.
Oh yes.
So that's like in your appraisal book and P&P near the back. Uh, some people they wreck it, or you might have to do the quadrants like northeast, southwest, like the little
Oh yes.
squares.
Yeah.
You know, if you just don't get it, just don't worry about it. We have another agent, K-Wall. He was on here, maybe a month and a half ago. And one thing that he did, and no one ever said to do this, but when he got to each math question, he skipped it.
Oh yeah.
He
I
marked
did the
it.
same.
You did the same thing?
I
Okay,
did the
tell us
same,
about it.
not just for the
Tell us.
math,
Tell us.
not just for the math question, but if I would read the question twice and I felt
Mhm.
like the answer wasn't coming to me there and then, I'll just mark it and then I'll go back to it afterwards, just so you don't focus
Okay.
too much time on it.
Okay, great. So when you got to a question of math or just one you're like, "Oh, I don't even no idea what this is."
Yeah,
You just said, "I'm done with this one. I'm moving on to the next."
I'll just
Oh,
mark it and I'll go back to it
okay.
later. Yes.
Do you know roughly how many of those you did that to? Like 5,
Ooh,
10, 40? Was
probably
it
about 10.
10? Okay,
Probably
alright.
about 10,
You
yes.
more
And don't
one
worry
one
about time as well, because you
uh,
have more than enough time to go back and just revise, go through your questions. I probably had like 20, 30 minutes to do that.
okay. That's what I was gonna allude to. You had plenty of time
Oh, yes.
to get back to it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And even after skipping those questions, going back to those questions, did you still have time to like, could you took a little took a break even after that? Did you still have time left over doing it
Oh,
that
yes.
strategy?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I still had time. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So that might be a good one if you guys are, I think the thing is, if you start reading a question like 3, 4, 5, 6 times, you better just skip it because you're gonna just
Yeah.
start like railroad, just gonna wreck everything. Layla has maybe a comment here. I took the Kramer class and I got a 66 on national and 69 on state, but I was tired and nervous taking the test. I felt like I was short on time. So, Layla, honestly, the Kramer, those numbers are pretty good.
Oh,
So
yes.
I think you're the one that said you're taking it on Friday. So if you're getting those questions, like, I don't know how long you took the Kramer, hopefully within a week or so or 2, because every day you go, guys, you forget.
Oh, yeah.
So don't drag this out because Layla, you could have took the Kramer a month ago and got those scores, and then if you're not studying hard, you'll forget it. It just starts because this stuff is not applicable in the real world. So, all right. Anything else? Ferrari, you want to
Um,
tell anybody?
I would just say the way they ask the questions, read the question at least twice. Because
Oh, I love
sometimes
that
you
one.
might miss something very small and rush to pick the wrong answer. It's all about reading the question and understanding what they're asking for.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And that was a big mistake you made on the first Kramer.
On
Is
the
that
first
right?
grammar,
You were
yes.
rushing it. Like, oh,
Yes.
well, maybe you're overconfident.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you're like, I know this one. I was like, yeah, no, you
Oh,
didn't.
yeah.
The
You
test.
read something and you
Mhm.
automatically think you know the answer and you haven't read the question. So, and I feel like in
Yeah.
the exam as well, there were a lot of scenario questions that you really
Mhm.
needed to read and understand the question.
Yeah. It's tricky. And like you gotta read the question. And remember, she had plenty of time. Right, she had plenty of time. So she read the questions twice slowly
Mhm.
and still had tons of time left. So read them a couple times. There's usually like a double negative. Which one is the least likely? Which one is the best?
Exactly.
There's always 4 answers and, you could commit to this, I guess, but there's usually two answers that are completely ridiculous.
Oh, yes.
Like not even applicable to anything. And then the
Hmm.
other 2 is like the fork in the road, oh, it could be that, or oh, wait a minute, least likely and it could be that one. And that's where it'll get you.
Oh,
It's
yes,
the
exactly.
trickiness to it. So yeah. Um, all right. Any last questions or comments? Oh, Layla says, no, April, but what to change before last week of March, my son's spring break. Oh, yeah. Those kids will get in your way. They'll take your focus off studying. So yeah, you want to make sure you have a couple good weeks of hard studying before you take your exam. And then Paige says, congratulations on all your blessings and a new chapter in life. Thank you, Paige.
Oh, thank you, Paige.
Oh, I thought she was talking to me. Right. Oh, no, you're the one that got married. I know. That's okay. I'll still take it. So, all right. Well, I'll tell you, Mrs. Bote. Thank you so much.
Thank
The
you.
Real Estate Exam Study Group. Guys, if you're too scared to ask her, because she's mean, clearly, but if you were too nervous to ask her questions, put it in the comment section below. And if you're thinking about wanting to get into real estate, we have a 30% off discount code below. So if you think you or someone you know might want to get into real estate, 30% off your Hondros tuition below. Click that link and get started. So other than that, Mrs. Bote, it's good seeing you, and I'll see you real soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. So we'll see everyone later. Bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye.